Well, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I would like to thank the people who came over here and made a halt on their activities just to participate in this important event. Quiero agradecerle a las personas que hicieron un alto en sus deberes cotidianos para poder participar de este importante evento. I would like to thank on behalf of the Commissioner and former Vice Mayor Angelo Castillo for his contribution to this event. Also, I would like to thank Mr. José Antonio Colina, President of BEPEX. Well, the acronym is short, but the real name is very long, so I will ask you to be a little patient because I will read what does it mean. BEPEX means the Venezuelan Organization of Political Persecute y Exile. Did I say good?
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Also, on behalf of our fairy godmother, who is Lourdes Diaz. Where is Lourdes? Is organizing things. Well, both José Antonio Colina and Lourdes Diaz has been the organizer of this event. And all the Venezuelans who live here in the exile condition would like to thank him, or them especially, because everything that has to see with our nationality and the troubles that we live in here in the exile have to be thanked for all those who support us. Solamente decía que yo quería en nombre de ustedes saludar tanto a Colina como a Angelo como a Lourdes por toda la cooperación que le dan a los venezolanos, porque cualquier cosa que tenga que ver con la dura vida que llevamos los venezolanos en el exilio es sencillamente ayudar a que en el futuro podamos tener una patria mejor. So please, let me mention some people who has come over here just to share with us this important holiday. Vicente Pugliese, Janet González, Carlos Pereira, José Amalio Graterol, Nelly Argüello, John de la Vega, José Mario Graterol, Alexis Ortiz, Juan Herreros y Lisette Cardo del escritorio jurídico Herrero López. Thank you for coming. Fernando Álvarez Paz. Lo perdí de vista, pero por ahí está. Sadi Villani, nuestro querido exalcalde. Uno de los más viejos, bueno, viejos no, antiguos amigos que tenemos aquí los exilados es Isócrates Arena. Henry Clement, José Hernández. Y no voy a hablar de la cantidad de gente de BPEX, que todos están aquí, a quienes agradecemos la convocatoria que han hecho y su participación. Pero no los voy a nombrar a todos, porque entonces nos ganan la partida. Ok. The truth is, this holiday works to celebrate two dazzling personalities who contribute to the building of the democracy. En este día de fiesta queremos conmemorar o celebrar a dos brillantes personas que han tenido mucho que ver con la construcción y la permanencia de la democracia. Uno es Rómulo Betancourt, en cuyo nombre hemos, o mejor dicho, la organización BP creó la orden Rómulo Betancourt, porque este es el padre fundador de nuestra democracia y a través de él queremos perpetuar su memoria y el contenido de la democracia. The other personality we would like to acknowledge this morning is the Senator Bill Nelson, who has been a strong support for the struggle and the fight of the Venezuelan, trying to retrieve our democracy and the freedom and the human rights. Otra persona a la que queremos homenajear en este acto, o mejor dicho, el objeto del homenaje de este acto, es el senador Bill Nelson, quien ha apoyado a los venezolanos en esta dura lucha por recuperar nuestra democracia. Unfortunately, our democracy has been kidnapped and outraged for the regime that had taken it for themselves as a treasure gained in a war. Venezuela lamentablemente está secuestrada y mancillada por gente que la ha tomado el país como si fuera un botín de guerra, cuando Venezuela tiene algo más, una tradición mucho más gloriosa que el destino al cual lo han conducido quienes se cogieron el país para ellos. Therefore, in the name of freedom, the liberty, and the human rights, I would like to celebrate the democracy, the best word that we can have in our lives, and that was talking by the best poet in the USA, who is Walt Whitman, the preferred son of Manhattan, who talks about the democracy in the best way a human being can do. So, let's start our event. Let me read the order of the day, the agenda. Bueno, le decía que quería terminar esta introducción, esta breve introducción, mencionando al poeta más importante de los Estados Unidos, como es Walt Whitman, el hijo preferido de Manhattan, como se llamaba él mismo, porque la palabra democracia él la ensalza de manera inmejorable, y por eso queremos sentirnos uno con el corazón de Walt Whitman y uno con el corazón de los Estados Unidos. Okay, now is one of the best moments of this morning, because the Commissioner Angelo Castillo and former Vice Mayor will come over here just to read the proclamation that will be received by José Antonio Colina, presidente del larguísimo nombre que resumimos como PEPEX.
Bienvenidos a Pembroke Pines, amigos. Welcome to Pembroke Pines, and it's a pleasure for us to have you all here as we celebrate the efforts of great patriots, not just here in the United States, but also from Venezuela, and their solidarity in trying to bring back democracy and human rights to the beautiful country of Venezuela. Celebramos el grito venezolano para democracia y para derechos humanos hoy. And I have a proclamation from the city of Pembroke Pines to read, and it is entirely in English.
I can translate if you want.
Which
I have here the proclamation.
Which is an oversight.
Okay, let's see.
And I'd also, before I read it, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of School Board member Robin Bartleman, the presence of through staff, Debbie Wasserman Schultz's office, Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz's office, Senator Robert Asencio is here. Senator, thank you so much for being here. Are there any other elected officials that I may have missed? I don't think so. Thank you very much. This is a proclamation, bang, bang. Round of applause for this amazing human being who has done so much to make the Venezuelan community proud and free, not just here in the United States, but in his home country. Muchísimas gracias.
Gracias.
A proclamation of the city of Pembroke Pines, Venezuelan Exile Day. Whereas the Organization of Venezuelan Politically Persecuted in Exile VEPEX, laid the foundation for the organization and unification of Venezuelan exiles, giving them a presence in South Florida and other communities such as Panama, Costa Rica, and Spain. And whereas VEPEX has reunited since its inception in April 13th of 2010, hundreds of Venezuelans who are exiled as a result of political persecution of Hugo Chavez's regime and that of his successor, Nicolás Maduro, to consolidate a solid platform that offers solidarity to Venezuelans in exile, en exilio. And whereas VEPEX has significant achievements in the development of events and activities in the struggle for freedom and democracy, not only of Venezuela, but of other Latin American countries. And whereas VEPEX has united in spirit with our American brothers and sisters to commemorate 13th of April as Venezuelan Exile Day, now therefore, I, Frank C. Ortiz, the mayor of the city of Pembroke Pines, on behalf of us as the City Commission of Pembroke Pines, by the authority vested in me as mayor of the city of Pembroke Pines, do hereby proclaim April 13th, 2018 as Venezuelan Exile Day and call upon the residents of Pembroke Pines to recognize VEPEX for its excellent and extraordinary work in support of the cause of Venezuelan exiles and the restoration of democracy in the oppressed countries of Latin America. Que viva Venezuela.
Gracias, Ángel. Gracias, José. Bueno, lo que el comisionado, nuestro querido amigo Ángelo Castillo dijo en ese mismo texto, es que los venezolanos somos chéveres. Bien. Continúa en el orden de palabra nuestro querido amigo José Antonio Colina.
Buenos días. Good morning. Thank you all for the effort you all made to be here today. We deeply appreciate it. It's all want to thank the elected officials and media outlets that they are accompanying us today. For us, Venezuelan exile is a motive of strength and inspiration to receive this proclamation for the mayor of Pembroke Pines, a wonderful city that decreed this day as the day of the Venezuelan exile. The Venezuelan exile community is no longer comprised only of those who have raised their voice to confront the regime. It is also comprised of individuals seeking to free from overwhelming scarcity in basic goods, including healthcare and food, and skyrocketing levels of crime. In this moment, when Venezuela is submerged in the plight crisis that has generated a massive exodus of more than 4 million of our citizens, it's extremely important that the international community acknowledge both the serious situation that affects the country and the particular experience of those who have had to emigrate, many of them in precarious conditions. Taking advantage of the fact that in a few minutes we are going to be honored by the visit of Senador Abril, I want to take the opportunity to speak out about the hard situation that thousands of Venezuelan exiles are facing in this great nation that has become home for many of us. While it is crucial to isolate and punish the Maduro regime, and we appreciate recent action from the American government to reach this end, we believe that it's also necessary to assist Venezuelans who have not been able to establish themselves legally in the United States, even though they are already escaping to this precarious situation in our home country. The aid to the Venezuelan exile community, however, should not nor can be a blank check given to all Venezuelan passport holders, since the United States is a dream destination for many of those linked to the regime that's contributed to the destruction of this nation. Unfortunately, many of them are also among us, living here in this beautiful land of opportunity. For these accomplishments of the destruction of Venezuela, we request the same treatment that corrupt officers and violators of human rights of the Maduro regime are getting. Sanctions and not having the possibility of living in land of freedom, which they criticize in deed and in rhetoric. To the extent of our capability, we will help the institution and authority of this country to identify them. I end my speech by raising a prayer to God Almighty the universal great architect, so that he may continue to bless this great nation and to fill our hearts with the perseverance and faith necessary to reach the end of on this hard and difficult battle for the freedom of Venezuela. Thank you again to the city of Pembroke for the honor of inviting us here today, and I look forward to continue working hard toward freedom for my dear country. Thank you very much. Básicamente, primero que nada, agradecerles a todos ustedes estar en la mañana del día de hoy. Sé que han hecho un alto en sus actividades para estar aquí y quiero agradecerles enormemente el haber hecho ese esfuerzo para acompañarnos en este día tan importante. Igualmente quiero agradecerle a todos los oficiales electos que se encuentran acá acompañándonos en este evento tan importante para la comunidad venezolana. Para nadie es un secreto que ya el exilio venezolano no solamente corresponde a quienes han salido por persecución política por levantar su voz en contra del régimen, sino que hoy esa crisis ha alcanzado a millones de venezolanos que han tenido que salir fuera del país buscando las oportunidades que no tienen dentro de Venezuela. Es importante que la comunidad internacional tenga conocimiento de lo que está ocurriendo con los venezolanos para que puedan darle un apoyo a quienes están buscando en tierras lejanas lo que no pueden encontrar en su propio país de origen o de nacimiento. Y es allí donde, aprovechando que vamos a tener la visita del senador Nelson en muy pocos minutos, quiero tocar dos puntos muy importantes para nosotros. Primer punto, es necesario y agradecemos las sanciones que han tenido contra funcionarios del régimen de Maduro que han violado derechos humanos, que han sido corruptos. Agradecemos esas sanciones, amanecemos esa mano dura en contra de estos delincuentes que nos han quitado la patria, pero también es necesario que esta administración y que todas las instituciones también ayuden a los venezolanos que se encuentran acá en los Estados Unidos, unos llegando, huyendo de la dictadura, y otros que tienen algún tiempo y que por alguna razón no han podido establecerse legalmente. Para ellos necesitamos una ayuda también. Sería condenar a muerte a un venezolano siendo deportado hacia su país de origen en estas condiciones. Y si ya hemos reconocido, o esta administración ha reconocido, de que en Venezuela existe una dictadura, no tiene mucho sentido deportar a venezolanos hacia ese país en donde la gente prácticamente está condenada a muerte. De igual forma, le decimos a las autoridades y a las instituciones que no es que nos van a dar un cheque en blanco, porque también entre nosotros hay mucha gente que contribuyó a la destrucción de ese país, y después que tanto lo criticaron y después que tanto hablaron mal de los Estados Unidos, ahora vienen acá a esconderse y a gozar con las fortunas que le robaron al pueblo venezolano. Para ellos, sanciones y no permitirles vivir aquí. Claramente estamos diciendo que ayuden a los que vienen por persecución y que sancionen a quienes han sido corresponsables de la tragedia que vive Venezuela. Finalicé mis palabras elevándole una plegaria al Dios Todopoderoso, gran arquitecto del universo, primero que nada para que siga bendiciendo esta gran nación que ha cobijado a millones de inmigrantes, y también para que llene nuestro corazón de la perseverancia necesaria para llegar hasta el final en esta dura batalla por la libertad y la democracia de Venezuela. Buenos días, muchas gracias.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, finally the U.S. Senator Bill Nelson is with us. Coming along with Jacqueline, her assistant. Thank you. Well, now it is the turn of José Mario Graterol, a lawyer who works and helps the Venezuelan in exile. So please come over here.
Buenos días. Primero que nada, le pido disculpas tanto a todos los funcionarios que a lo mejor no entienden el idioma español, como al aliado de los venezolanos que piden libertad, el senador Bill Nelson, porque voy a dar unas breves palabras, pero en mi idioma natal, en español. Bueno, para mí es un gran honor haber sido invitado el día de hoy por la organización BEPETS, organización que lucha por los venezolanos en el exilio, un exilio que para nada es voluntario, sino que casi la mayoría de los venezolanos que están en el exilio están de manera obligados en el exilio. Creo que soy uno de los que menos tiempo tienen el exilio, de los que están aquí sentados el día de hoy. Apenas tengo 7 meses en esta tierra de libertad y cuando vine ni siquiera pensaba quedarme. Vine a unos programas de televisión, a unas conferencias y resulta que me estaban esperando en Venezuela, no solo para quitarme el pasaporte, sino para ir preso. Pero bueno, esa es la historia personal que cada uno de los que está aquí, los que está en cualquier parte del mundo, tiene. Yo quisiera hacer una diferencia y que se entienda con relación a las últimas 2 dictaduras que nos antecedieron, la de Juan Vicente Gómez y la de Marcos Pérez Jiménez. En esas dictaduras solo se perseguía la disidencia política, se buscaba, perseguía, apresaba y torturaba a quien disentía políticamente. Esta dictadura que hoy vivimos los venezolanos es algo distinto, es una dictadura social. Es importante que las autoridades de los otros países, en este caso de este gran país, como los Estados Unidos, entiendan que el venezolano no es una persona que busca emigrar a otras fronteras, sino que siempre buscó estar en su país y hacer de su país su riqueza y hacer en su país su vida. En la guerra de independencia murió la 1/3 parte de la población venezolana y los venezolanos no se fueron de Venezuela. En la guerra federal murieron más de 500.000 venezolanos y los venezolanos no se fueron de Venezuela. Lamentablemente, la dictadura que vive hoy nuestro país es una dictadura social, es una dictadura que daña y que disfruta el daño a la población venezolana. No es una dictadura común y corriente, es una dictadura que lamentablemente para todos los venezolanos y para el hemisferio y para el mundo es una dictadura que vive del sadismo y disfruta del sufrimiento del pueblo venezolano. Un pueblo no solamente oprimido, sino un pueblo que es torturado y asesinado sistemáticamente por una dictadura moderna como la que existe hoy en Venezuela, una dictadura aliada al narcotráfico y aliada al terrorismo internacional que se vanagloria y disfruta de ver a los niños cómo mueren de desnutrición, de ver cómo nuestros adultos mayores mueren por no tener las medicinas, de ver cómo los jóvenes no tienen posibilidad de futuro. Por eso le digo a las autoridades aquí presentes que este exilio venezolano no es voluntario. No es solamente un exilio por la persecución política, es un exilio porque buscan asesinar a un pueblo y someter a todo un pueblo como el pueblo venezolano, y por eso nosotros los venezolanos agradecemos enormemente y eternamente estaremos agradecidos de las sanciones que distintos países, entre ellos este gran país, este país de la libertad como Estados Unidos, ha generado contra los que sistemáticamente generan el genocidio que hoy vive nuestro pueblo venezolano. No es de venezolanos, no es de la cultura nuestra salir de nuestro país. Es muy duro. Algunos critican y hablan de venezolanos empuntuflados en el exterior. Perdonémoslo, porque no entienden lo duro que es estar en el exilio. Lo duro es que estar haciendo una vida distinta a la que uno escogió desde que era un joven, pero ellos están allá y ellos están sufriendo de esa maldad que genera esa grave dictadura que vive el pueblo venezolano. Tenemos que perdonarnos a quienes critican o a quienes dicen que el exilio disfruta en otras tierras. Pues no, la mayoría de los que estamos fuera, creo que nos acostamos tranquilos el día que sabemos que pudimos ayudar a familiares y amigos en nuestro país, que sabemos que nuestra ayuda desde el exterior es la que está posibilitando o haciendo posible la subsistencia de muchos venezolanos en Venezuela. Eso lo hacemos los venezolanos desde el exterior. Eso lo hacemos los que estamos exiliados no voluntariamente, sino obligados por un régimen asesino que vive en Venezuela. Eso que hacemos es importantísimo porque nos privamos de hacer muchas cosas para lograr esa satisfacción de ayudar a nuestros compatriotas en Venezuela. Pero nos hace falta algo más. Nos hace falta organizarnos como exilio, como una tierra en el exilio, como un país, como una nación en el exilio, para lograr el derrocamiento por cualquier vía de la lamentable dictadura asesina, terrorista y narcotraficante que hay en Venezuela. Por último, quiero decirles algo de Simón Bolívar, tan vilipendiado como ha sido nuestro libertador, tan utilizado políticamente que ha sido nuestro libertador. Él decía algo que nos reconforta estando en el exilio, luchando por la libertad de Venezuela desde el exilio, y es huir del país donde uno solo ejerce todos los poderes, porque ese es un país de esclavos. 2 de enero no se me olvidó la fecha. Eso fue nuestro libertador Simón Bolívar. Pero además, quería leer algo aquí muy rápido, porque sé que estamos cortos con el tiempo, que creo que se acabó, pero es algo de Lincoln, que se refiere a lo que estaba diciendo nuestro gran amigo José Antonio Colina, referido a la inmigración que no solamente es por la persecución política que hay en Venezuela. Y decía Abraham Lincoln, decía lo siguiente, que la inmigración extranjera, que en el pasado ha contribuido tanto a la riqueza, al desarrollo de recursos y al aumento de poder en esta nación, el asilo de los oprimidos de todas las naciones debe ser fomentada y alentada por la política liberal y justa. Yo creo que todos estos países que nos han dado entrada deben entender la grave situación y el genocidio sistemático que hay en el pueblo venezolano, y que no solo salen por persecución política, sino que salen para salvar su vida millones de venezolanos, que hoy contamos más de 4 millones. Muchas gracias a esta tierra de libertad, muchas gracias a los Estados Unidos, muchas gracias a ustedes por estar ahí y permitirme el honor de un día tan importante como hoy dirigirles unas palabras a nuestros coterráneos en el exilio. Muchas gracias.
Hi, others. Where have you been? Because from the beginning, I called you our fairy godmother, and you weren't here. Stand up for the people to see you. That you are really beautiful. She is one organizer of this important event for us. Okay, now this is a turn of a proclamation. The recipient is Pedro González, and the bestow is Esteban Hernández, coordinador de la juventud de BPEX. ¿Me puedes explicar? May you explain something about him?
Esto es un breve reconocimiento a personas que han apoyado a la organización durante todo el tiempo. Pedro González es una persona discapacitada que, a pesar de que está discapacitado, apoya a la organización. Él hace publicidad con unas pantallas en su espalda, y cada vez que hay un evento como este, él va por todas las calles de Brickell mostrando la publicidad de la organización BEPE, que es por eso que hoy le estamos entregando la medalla BEPE en su 3ª clase, por el apoyo a la organización.
He's a very good friend of us who lives in the downtown of Miami, but always is doing advertising about the activities developed by BPEX. So that's the reason why he's being awarded this morning. Okay, now the medal of BPEX in its 1st class. The recipient is Tabata Siu, head of the marketing and press of EFE news agency. Thank you for coming. The bestow of Vicente Pugliese, chief of press of our organization.
También estamos reconociendo el día de hoy a la agencia de noticias EFE, que es una de las agencias que más ha trabajado para que se conozca la situación que está viviendo Venezuela en estos momentos. Ha sido fuertemente atacada por el régimen y también ha sido una gran aliada del exilio venezolano, y es por eso que hacemos por primera vez la entrega de la medalla de BEPEX en su primera clase a la Agencia de Noticias F Seccional Miami.
Okay, now we will have the honor of hearing the very short intervention of Mr. Carlos Pereira. Come over here, please.
No. Yeah. I not read the speech.
Y a dos menos.
I not read the speech. Okay, I'm very short. Okay, for sure.
And why?
But I was showing to the Senador, okay, this picture with him 5 years ago, when I wish the Senador can share, and I dream the day that Mr. Bill Nelson, the Senator Nelson, has a meeting with the Venezuelan people. Today is a reality. Senator Nelson, I'm very short because the time obviously is very important. I don't read anything, but I wanna tell you thank you, like everybody say here, for your support to the Venezuelan issues, the issues for the liberty and the freedom. Not just in our country, it's your fight for the issues in the state and the Venezuelan people here. I want to say thank you, because when you stand up in the last month with the shootings in Parliament, one Venezuelan young boy died there, and another Venezuelan, he is recovering, but he is a real hero because he received 7 shots for save his friends. And you stand up with the, I have to tell them, and I'm sorry, and I'm excused for saying that, about the irresponsible words of the governor of Florida. Okay? You, our hero. I want to say thanks, Senator, because not only about the state, I know that you support the issues about immigration for Venezuelans. And it's very important that people here, sometimes they don't know about your work because a lot of Venezuelans don't speak English. But we show in the social media all videos when you talk in the Congress, when you talk in the Senate, okay, about the problems of Venezuela. Thank you very much, Senador. In the same way, he coming late, but I have to recognize another personality, another important person here, that he worked in the state a lot, like your Senator. He is a sponsor in the state. He worked a lot about the sanctions, and he worked a lot for the Venezuelan issues. And maybe nobody knows that he's here because he's coming late. The State Senator, J.J. Rodriguez, Jose Javier Rodriguez, thank you very much. I want to say thanks to Vivian Pierisi. Yes, she comes from our Congressman David Wasserman Schultz. And the last thing is a very important thing, because I don't know if you hear when Colina says something very important. This administration is very inconsistent with the Venezuelan issue. And let me tell you why. Because this administration, okay, declared a dictatorship in Venezuela, declare about the communist regime in Venezuela, but this administration keep deporting Venezuelan people to this dictatorship. That is inconsistent. We can say that we have a dictator and a communist regime in Venezuela if we deport the Venezuelans to Maduro. That will be happening anymore, and I wanna tell you fight, because you know what? These young people, these heroes, they can die in Venezuela. They are died every day in the streets of Venezuelans. They are heroes. Sometimes I wish die with them. A veces yo quiero morir con ellos también. Muchas gracias. Thank you, Senador. Sí, pueden aplaudir si quieren. Y bueno, esto no estaba en el programa, nadie lo sabía, pero bueno, perdón, rapidito, solamente 30 segundos. Okay, I wanna recognize, okay, to Mr. Senador Nelson, okay, the Venezuelan American Democrat Club, okay, and the Venezuelan Americans wanna give you the Kennedy Award. This is a special, okay, recognition for your support to the Venezuelan issues. I'm going to say Venezuelan American Democratic Club Certificate of Special Activist Recognition, mention John Kennedy, Senador Bill Nelson. In recognition, outstanding and invaluable service to the state. Mr. Senador, I want to... Yes, medal say Venezuelan Kennedy Award, honor Senador Bill Nelson, April 13. Muy bien. I give you your two. I have for Mr. Jose Antonio Colina. The medal, what is the... No, I know, but I have the recognition for Colina too. Corina, it is sent for thank you. Your work with the community. Thank you very much.
Now we have the honor also of presenting the State Senator, Jose Javier. Come over here, please, because he will talk about the background and the life, and the political life and human life of our U.S. Senator Viernes.
Thank you. Thank you. Go ahead. I'm going to say a few words in Spanish, pero soy José Javier Rodríguez, senador estatal. Vengo desde Miami, donde nació el senador Bill Nelson. Para mí me honra compartir unas palabras presentando al senador. Les voy a explicar brevemente, aunque ustedes ya saben por qué es es un honor presentar al senador cuando estamos hablando del tema de Venezuela y de venezolanos. Y José Antonio Colina yo creo que nos definió los temas en que el senador ha estado trabajando tan arduamente. Primero, y muy obvio para todos aquí, es el esfuerzo de enfrentar esa dictadura narcoterrorista de Venezuela y también enfrentar el hambre, la opresión que ha causado. También es el tema de apoyar al pueblo venezolano, ¿no? Esta administración todavía no ha levantado el dedo cuando tiene que ver con el TPS para proteger al pueblo venezolano aquí. Y el senador ha sido un campeón en abogar por, bueno, si no el TPS, una acción del Congreso Federal para proteger a aquellos que, como estaban describiendo, si vuelven a Venezuela, para el hambre, la persecución, y el peligro físico que pueden vivir en Venezuela. Y tercero, como cubano-americano, para mí también es ese esfuerzo para unirse a la comunidad y ayudar a que esta comunidad que se establece, se sigue estableciendo. La abuela de mi esposa es venezolana, ha estado aquí por mucho tiempo, pero esta es una comunidad que ha estado creciendo mucho y que necesita todos los aliados que tienen. Así que no solamente obviamente la ciudad de Pembroke Pines y los comisionados y la ciudad de aquí, pero para mí es un honor dar unas palabras. Y quiero, si me permiten, agregar un punto que yo creo que es importante en los próximos meses que vamos a vivir aquí en la Florida. Como senador estatal tengo el orgullo de ser el que patrocinó este proyecto de ley que logramos aquí en la Florida. Y como demócrata es importantísimo para mí decir que fue un proyecto y un labor bipartidista, no fue un labor republicana. Esto fue algo que lo presentamos, empezamos a hablar de esto públicamente el mismo 5 de julio del año pasado. Inmediatamente después el gobernador y muchos de mis colegas republicanos se unieron al esfuerzo. Pero al escuchar en los últimos meses, últimas semanas, da la impresión que fue algo que hicieron los republicanos, y no es así. Fue algo bipartidista y es importantísimo clarificarlo. Y ese trabajo sigue, o sea que lo que dice la ley es que el Estado de la Florida no va a colaborar con aquellas compañías que están colaborando directamente con el régimen de Maduro. Y es algo que tenemos que dar seguimiento a eso y reconocer que eso no fue una idea ni un proyecto republicano. Y es importantísimo recordar eso en las semanas y meses que vienen, que seguramente vamos a escuchar de eso. So I'll say a few words in English, if that's all right.
Yes, go ahead.
So what I said was Nelson Good, Scott Patton. I'm just kidding. I'm State Senator Jose Javier Rodriguez. I have the honor of serving a state Senate district in Miami, and I know that's where Senator Nelson was born. And to me, it's an honor to be here saying a few words before Senator Nelson is honored. And the reason for that is for your unwavering advocacy, not just in confronting the narco-terrorist dictatorship in Venezuela, but also confronting the hunger, the oppression there. Also, the work that you do unflagging to support the Venezuelan people here. If the Trump administration is not going to lift a finger to put in place TPS, well, we know that you have been a champion calling for that, and any action that the U.S. government can take to make sure the Venezuelans are not sent back to hunger and oppression and physical violence. And third, as a Cuban American, for me, it is extremely important the work that you do, continuing to stand alongside the Venezuelan community. It's a community that has a long trajectory. My wife's grandmother's Venezuelan, has been in Miami for a very long time. But it's a community that is growing, and as you say, an experience that in my community is painfully familiar. It's a community that needs us to stand with it to make sure that everybody that it's growing and staying in solidarity. And so for me, I think the last point that I did want to make is that when it comes to the cause of Venezuelan liberty, that is not a partisan issue. It has not been partisan. And I'm honored that I was the sponsor of legislation that was passed this year in the Florida legislature that is now law. And what it does is it adds Venezuela to our divestment programs. It says that we as Florida taxpayers are not going to support those companies that are collaborating directly with the narco-terrorist regime of Maduro. It is legislation that I proposed last July 5th. Immediately, the governor and my Republican colleagues began working together to do everything we could to make this law. It is now law. And I wanted to make absolutely clear the next few weeks, the next few months, again, that effort and all our efforts are bipartisan. They do not belong to, certainly not this governor and certainly not a particular political party, but they are all things that we are working on together, and I want to make sure that that is absolutely clear. But I want to thank you for all of your work, and I want to thank you, everyone who made time to come here and join in honoring Senator Nelson. Thank you.
Bueno, ya estamos en el noveno inning. Now we are in the ninth inning. Please, may you bring the proclamation? Colina, may you come over here, please? Mr. Senator, please, may you approximate over here, please? Now is the moment in which BEPEX will bestow the proclamation Rómulo Betancourt, honoring both Mr. Rómulo Betancourt and Mr. U.S. Senator Bill Nelson.
Thank you, Senator, for all you are doing for Venezuelan people. You know, you are fighting against the people inside the country, and you are the best supporter of us to live in this country. This is for your job, helping us.
Okay, now the words, the wise words of our senator.
Buenas tardes a todos. Muchísimas gracias por la oportunidad a hablar con ustedes. Yo quiero hablar sobre la libertad de la gente. Es muy importante. Ahora mismo yo hablaré en inglés, ¿ok? By the way, my great-great-grandfather came to Florida in 1829. We had just become a territory of the United States acquired from Spain in 1821. And of course, you know the longest self-sustaining city in the United States is St. Augustine, Florida, settled by Pedro Menendez in 1565. And I just found a very interesting fact. A researcher here in University of South Florida was in the archives in Seville. And in the Spanish archives, he found that there was an Irish priest in St. Augustine in the year 1600, after the founding of 1565. Well, you know how Boston says that they were the first to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. And New York says that they were the first to have the first St. Patrick's Day parade. Not so. We found in the archives in Spain, in St. Augustine in 1600, an Irish priest named Ricardo Alberto. And he had written in the archives, we celebrated St. Patrick's Day in 1601, and we celebrated the first St. Patrick's Day parade in 1601. So you see how much ahead of Boston and New York we are in Florida. Well, thank you. Es un honor para mí for this very kind recognition. It's true. Many times things that you don't get noticed, but I had particular interest in my legislative experience of wanting to help, particularly Venezuela. I remember the time that I had been in Venezuela, and I was asked by the Venezuelan press. This is in the first decade after 2000, early on in that decade, and I did not spare any words as to what I thought of Hugo Chavez and what was happening at the border, where the members of the FARC would come across the border to seek refuge when the Colombian military would be closing in on them. And of course I stated this, and I've stated that I thought Hugo Chavez was becoming a dictator. Well, the next time I go to Venezuela, we were met at the airport. We were in a U.S. Air Force jet. Our ambassador is driving with us from the airport up into Caracas, and the leader of the delegation, Senator Dodd, says, well, we made a request to see President Chavez. And our U.S. ambassador says, the president said that he is happy to see Senator Dodd, he's happy to see Senator Chafee, but he refuses to see Senator Nelson. I consider that an honor. As it turns out, the leader of the delegation, Senator Dodd, had the presence of mind to say either he sees all of us or he sees none of us. And of course he relented. And in the course of that conversation, I asked him about the FARC coming across and seeking refuge in Venezuela. And of course, you know what the answer was. Oh, no, we don't let the FARC into Venezuela. And it was that evening when we left Venezuela that there was the discovery that a major FARC leader was living in a hotel in downtown Caracas. And of course, there's a pattern here. It's another pattern just a little bit to the north in the island of Cuba. So we had an American that had been imprisoned over 6 years, Alan Gross. I was doing everything I could behind the scenes, no publicity, to see if we could get him out of prison. I had even gone to see the president of Haiti, who was going to Havana to see Castro. I asked him to start the cooperation and communication to try to get Alan Gross out. And then I offered myself to go see Alan Gross in prison. But because I have been consistently a critic of the Castro regime, they would not give me a visa to go to Cuba to see Alan Gross. Ultimately, as you know, he was released from prison. It was almost 7 years, and yet happily he lived to tell about that hellhole experience that he had. I wish that we could gather today under different circumstances, but we find ourselves with repressive regimes, as we've seen as a young Army lieutenant during Vietnam, when our great enemy was the Soviet Union, and all of what happened behind the Iron Curtain, taking away people's freedom. We've seen that in this hemisphere since 1959, and we've seen it, unfortunately, happen in the golden jewel on the northern part of South America, Venezuela. And we've seen what happened to it. We've seen it go down, down, down. We've seen the economic promise because of oil go down, 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 as Chavez and then Maduro have looted their country. We know the tragic reality that Venezuela, once a historic democracy, has become a failed dictatorship, and that the Venezuelan people who have endured so much continue to suffer at the hands of Maduro's criminal regime. And so, even in the face of suffering, the Venezuelan people are engaged in a fight to restore their democracy. Rómulo Betancourt led a fight for Venezuela's democracy too. And like many others, like many of you, he led a life in exile from his country. I read this week that President Betancourt was sometimes called the father of Venezuelan democracy, and a, quote, a miracle in Latin American politics, because he twice left office as poor as he began. What a stark contrast to Maduro. What a stark contrast to his cronies. What a stark contrast to Castro and his cronies, who have systematically undermined democratic institutions, jailed their political opponents, cracked down on protesters, and through failed economic policies and corruption, starved the Venezuelan people of food, basic supplies, and life-saving medicines. These are the actions of a brutal dictator. And sadly, the struggle of the Venezuelan people is not new. It is eerily similar, as I have said, to the Cuban people. And I fear that the struggle of the Venezuelan people points to a broader trend of attacks on democracy in our hemisphere and around the world. And defending that democracy and restoring that democracy is a constant effort. I know many of you have been doing just that. I want to commend you, and I want to say to you, keep on keeping on. And so, as we stand up for Venezuela, it's certainly in the interest of the United States. In Venezuela, the first thing that we must do loudly and clearly is to condemn the crimes of the Maduro regime. And I guess you should know that you are talking to that senator who, along with some of my colleagues, have spoken out against him and his crimes. We must also continue ramping up economic sanctions on Maduro and his cronies, supporting democratic institutions and the spread of information, the truth. We must demand the release of political prisoners, and we must demand truly fair elections. We must also break Maduro's hold on certain states in the organization of American states and find ways to get badly needed humanitarian assistance to the Venezuelan people. We've made some progress, working on a bipartisan basis with senators like Senator Rubio, Congresswoman Ross Layton, and others, in targeting the regime with sanctions, Senator Menendez as well, Senator Cardin of Maryland as well. Just recently, the Treasury Department finally heeded our concerns that Maduro, with Russia's help, was seeking to evade sanctions with its so-called cryptocurrency. We're working on that. We've also got to preserve funds for democracy programs in Venezuela and Cuba. The Trump administration's budget, unfortunately, would have cut those funds. Thankfully, Senator Rubio, and you all know that Senator Rubio and I are friends, we get along. Senator Rubio, Senator Mendez, Senator Tillis of North Carolina, and I are able to stop these cuts, and we actually increased the funds in the recent appropriations bill. And of course, there's so much more to do. I'm going to keep at it, and I know you will too. Again, for this signal honor that you have given me today, I will never forget it. Muchísimas gracias.
Not yet. Because we have some present for him. Okay, before our senator leaves, we would like to our plastic painter. Oh, sorry, we have a letter from John to bestow to the senator. Please come over here and give the and this is a document about the situation of people who is asking for refuge and asylum here in the USA. So we're asking for his help just to support the job that people is doing now, the Venezuelan people is doing now. And last but not least, the Venezuelan artist Christopher Pasillo will give a present to the senator. Come over here, please, to go for your paintings. Busca tus cuadros, por favor. This is for the senator. A Venezuelan flag.
Otra bandera, José Antonio Colina y otro Esteban Hernández.
Ok, me dice el artista que va a romper el protocolo. Los artistas tienen que romper el protocolo siempre, si no, no son artistas. Para entregarle a José Colina un ejemplar también de la bandera. Y la otra es para Esteban Hernández. Please join us. Ok. And I notify you, as you can see, that the time is over. The event has finished. Thank you. Thanks for coming. Gracias por venir. Y esperamos contar con ustedes en el próximo evento.
Y bueno, seguimos adelante en la lucha por una Venezuela libre. Muchas gracias.